here on Bill Phillips Transformation Success Stories.
Being out in God's country, being out where things have been that way forever, things go into perspective, become a little more clear. I live in Las Vegas. We're practically in the shadow of Red Rock. I love to go out there and go running and hiking on the trails. There's so many different trails to go on out there. I think the strength to keep running comes from inspiration.
When Chris Ryle looks at where he's come from, he has all the inspiration he needs.
I got up to about 325 pounds. Every night was pizza night. And I was just in like a constant food coma. When I look at my before photo, I see someone who was checked out. That guy was waiting to die. He'd given up, and he was just going to bed every night, thinking, I hope it's painless.
Chris realized that some of his problems stem from being abandoned by his father as a child.
I've always felt isolated from the world around me. I've used my body weight in some ways to keep me isolated.
As Chris struggled with his weight and inner turmoil, his relationship with his wife Jen dissolved. Then, she and their young son Parker moved out.
We made a decision to take some time apart. And it was very traumatic when we left, because it was Parker and I, and it was right after Parker turned 2.
When I watched him drive away, I said, that's it, I'm doomed. I'm going to be my absent father. And that is the last thing in the world I wanted to be.
But Chris withdrew even more, losing all contact with Jen and Parker.
I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't joined Transformation.
There's this real science of setting and achieving goals.
I saw this video of Bill talking about goals, and that was probably the catalyst, the thing that pulled me right into transformation. For me, the mental weight is what has to go away first in order to lose the weight.
And Chris started losing big on the Vegas Strip.
Once in a while, I'll run down Las Vegas Boulevard and get to see the fountains, the lights, the people out there, and it's just a really fun atmosphere. I mean, just compared to where I was a year ago, I feel amazing. Now, the time that I feel right after I eat, that's when I feel like I have the most energy. One more, come on, push. Now I'm just over 200 pounds. I had to get a new driver's license because the picture looked so different. People didn't believe that was who I was. I feel like my physical body isn't the limitation here. I started to see that people are what's important. My priorities were way backwards for a really long time. And that's probably the spark that initiated my calling Jen.
During their 5-year separation, Jen had a relationship with another man and gave birth to a little boy named Hayden.
Chris was in a place in his life where he could be consistent and be stable. I was willing to make the effort in reintroducing Chris back into Parker's life.
Dad, I love you.
I love you too, Parker. We're best friends. I love being in tune to how his mind works, and he's just full of energy and life, and he's go, go, go all the time.
Yeah!
Chris is a fantastic father. Chris is very, very hands-on, very loving, just an amazing dad.
Chris and Jen have mended their broken marriage.
I've always loved Jen.
The Chris that I see now is the reason I fell in love with him. I think without Chris's transformation, there would have been no possibility of us getting back together.
Chris has become a surrogate father to Hayden.
Pushes, clap. And I'm glad I get to be there for Hayden. And Hayden's about the age Parker was when Jen and I split up. It's kind of a neat experience to be dad to someone who's the age of the son that I didn't get to know. I have made some of the best friends in my life at Transformation. I got a friend request just before the end of the year. It was a really familiar name, Larry Ryle. My dad found me on transformation.com. You know, of all the people that I could have affected with my story, all the people in the world that I could help out with my story. I never would have thought that I would have touched my own father. He's called me and he's told me he has the deepest respect for what I've done. And I've forgiven him. And I want him to be in my life. I'm an example of how you can change your life from being down in the depths to feeling like you're on top of a mountain. I've got the life I've always wanted. I've got my fairy tale.